Someone asks you for a favor you don't have time for. You feel it immediately. A small tightening in your chest. A voice that says, no, not this time. And then you say, sure, I can do that. You didn't plan to say yes. It just came out. Here's the strange part. In that half second, your brain didn't weigh the pros and cons. It ran a conflict check. And it failed you on purpose. Psychotherapist Pete Walker gave this reaction a name, the fawn response. Alongside fight, flight, and freeze, fawning is a fourth way your nervous system handles perceived threat. Instead of confronting the discomfort, you appease it. You smooth it over. You say yes, fast, because agreement feels safer than the few seconds of tension a no would create. That tension is real. Every time you consider saying no, your body registers it as a small conflict. Your heart rate shifts, your muscles tighten. And most people never learned how to sit inside that discomfort. They learned, often as kids, that keeping the peace got a better reaction than pushing back. So the yes isn't random. It's a rehearsed exit route your body found years ago and never stopped using. Why does it still work so well even now, as an adult with every reason to say no? Psychologist Susan Newman, who spent years studying why people struggle to refuse requests, found a consistent pattern. Most chronic yes-sayers aren't confused about their limits. They know exactly what they can't take on. What they can't tolerate is the immediate discomfort of disappointing someone in front of them. The no isn't the hard part. The other person's reaction to the no is. There's a second force at work, and it's not emotional at all. It's about how your brain is wired to protect your own self-image. Psychologist Robert Cialdini, after decades studying influence, found that once you commit to something, even something small, you feel real internal pressure to stay consistent with it. Not because it's logical. Because backing out doesn't just risk disappointing someone else. It makes you feel unreliable to yourself. That's why the first yes is the hardest one to take back. Once it's out of your mouth, undoing it costs you something that has nothing to do with the other person at all. And there's a third, more boring reason that nobody talks about. You're simply worn out. Decision fatigue is well documented. The more choices you make in a day, the less mental energy you have left to evaluate the next one carefully. By the time someone asks you for a favor at 4 in the afternoon, your brain isn't running a fresh analysis. It's taking the path that requires the least resistance. And yes, almost always requires less immediate effort than a no. So you keep saying yes. To the coworker who dumps their project on your desk, to the friend who needs a ride at midnight. Each yes feels small in the moment. Stacked together, they quietly drain the one resource you can't get back, your time. Here's what actually helps, and none of it involves becoming a different person. First, create space between the question and your answer. Let me check and get back to you. Costs nothing to say, and it removes you from the fawn response's favorite condition, being asked to decide while someone is watching your face in real time. Second, notice that the discomfort you feel saying no isn't a warning sign. It's just an unfamiliar feeling, not a dangerous one. The fawn response treats mild tension like an emergency. It isn't one. Third, track the evidence. Every time you say no and the relationship holds and the sky doesn't fall, you're teaching your own nervous system that the old shortcut isn't necessary anymore. This doesn't mean you stop helping people. It means the help finally comes from a real decision, instead of a reflex built to avoid 3 seconds of tension. Now, when someone asks for something you don't have room for, notice the moment right before you answer. That tightening. That urge to just say yes and make the discomfort disappear. That's not you being agreeable. That's a habit your body built a long time ago, still running long after it stopped being necessary.